If you need any Xbox or PlayStation codes or anything gaming related, check the referral links down in the description. They'll take you to g2a.com. They already have a discount on most of their goods already, and with the code CHES at checkout, you can get yourself an extra 3% off as well.
Hey guys, how's it going? Ches back again and welcome to episode number 29 of the Inter Milan career mode here on FIFA 15. Today's the end of season 1 roundup. We'll have a look at how things panned out in all competitions and then of course end with a usual squad report so you can see how everybody's growing so far this season and see where we're ending up with the individuals in the team and see how they performed this year and kind of make a kind of pencil in who we think might stay and who we think we might be looking to move on. And then of course in the next episode on Monday, we'll have a full-on transfer targets episode. But obviously, we ended the season yesterday and unfortunately missed out on Champions League football in the league by 3 points. Roma finishing above us. Juve won the league by a full 5 points with AC Milan finishing second. Obviously, Roma in third, ourselves in fourth, and then Fiorentina in fifth with Lazio missing out on a European football. And Napoli down in 10th, which is a big surprise. Fully expect them to be a lot better next year. Now, one thing that, as you can see just down the bottom quickly, Sampdoria, Hellas Verona and Cesena are going to be leaving us, and we'll check actually and see who's coming up from Serie B in just a second. But one thing that I'm not too sure about yet as we head from this season into the next, obviously in real life the winners of the Europa League get progression through to the next season's group stage of the Champions League, but I don't know whether that is in effect in FIFA this year. Now, obviously, as we'll scroll through, you'll be able to see in just a second. But Juve won the Tim Cup. It's the equivalent of the FA Cup, I believe, the Coppa Italia, effectively, in Italy, and they got it with a 3-0 win over Roma. Obviously, in the Champions League, as you can see, an El Clasico final was won by Real Madrid by 1-0. And then we do get to the Europa League final, where obviously we did beat Fiorentina 3-0. But like I say, it's been up for discussion in the comments of the past 2 or 3 videos actually of this particular series, with obviously the run up to the cup final, then the cup final itself, and then obviously in the final group stage or league games of the season yesterday. And I don't think anyone's really too sure. I've never won the Europa League to progress through to the next season, so not this year at least, as far as I can cast my mind back. I don't think. Although did we win the Europa League with Chelsea? No, we didn't. We won the Champions League with Chelsea, didn't we? I'm trying to just cast my mind back. We won the Champions League with Chelsea in the first season we actually did ever on FIFA 15. But I don't think we've had a Europa League victory so far this year. So it'll be interesting to see if we do get put into the group stage of the Champions League, or if that particular rule isn't necessarily in effect here. I don't think it is. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, FIFA 9 times out of 10 isn't as realistic as to put that in, but we'll have to wait and see if they actually do. And then obviously there's the South America Cup, which hasn't yet started. So we'll have a quick look at Serie B, see who's going to be joining us and see who else won the big leagues around Europe this year. We'll have a quick look at the team stats as well from our league. Chelsea win the Barclays Premier League by a single point ahead of Manchester United. I will take that this season in real life as well, to be completely honest, although the gap is slightly more than a single point with 6 games to go. Man City a further 10 points behind Man United, and then Spurs there missing out on third spot by quite a significant margin on goal difference, but they do get Champions League football, and Liverpool have to settle for Europa League football, despite being only 1 point behind third place, and Everton are there in 6th. I think they'll get Europa League football as well. And Burnley, Hull and Leicester have gone down. Just quickly, out of curiosity, I want to see where Cambridge came. 18th. Not bad, not bad. Lyon win Ligue 1 by 10 points. They are top in real life right now, I think. PSG are sat second, right behind them, in real life and in this particular career mode. But nice to see Lyon win the league. It makes a nice change from having PSG win it every single year. So nice to see that. In Germany, unsurprisingly, Bayern Munich have won the league. Although, weirdly, again, I'm at the end of July, ready to start the next season, and again, it's not played enough games in the league, which is just perplexing. Really baffles me that the game can be so broken. But they should have played 34 games, obviously, in the Bundesliga. They've only played 32, and I presume no more will be played because I'm like 3 or 4 days from the beginning of the next season at the end of July. So never mind. They even if was the gap 6 points. So I think even if Borussia Dortmund had won both of their remaining games and Bayern Munich had lost, they probably would have won the league anyway on goal difference. So fair play to Bayern. In Italy, obviously, we know what happened there. In Serie B, Bologna won the league, and Pescara will come up second. And then I'm not sure how. I believe it's the playoffs, but I'm not entirely too sure. You guys will have to confirm for me in the comments section. Obviously, 3 teams go down from Serie A: Sampdoria, Hellas Verona, and Cesena. But I'm not sure whether it's 2 places and a playoff, or whether it's just the top 3. I presume it's a playoff. So one of Catania, La Spezia, Modena, and Bari will be joining us in Serie A next season, and we'll have a quick look in Spain to see who won the league over there. PSV winning the league in the Netherlands, Porto winning the Portuguese league, Celtic winning the Scottish league, no surprise, and Barcelona win La Liga. Although again, 2 games left to be played, which is just stupid. But at least Barcelona again are far enough ahead that even if those 2 games had been played and the game hadn't broken, that they would have won the league anyway, because they're 9 points clear of Real Madrid with 2 games to go. So Sevilla finishing 3rd and Atleti in 4th, with Real Sociedad down in 5th and Bilbao in 6th. Valencia 7th. Who would have expected Valencia to finish higher than that, but never mind. Tight situations between the European spots in all leagues, I think, this year. We'll have a quick look at the player stats, then we'll do a squad report to round us out. Our very own Rodrigo Palacio finished 2nd in the goal-scoring charts. Juventus's very own Carlos Tevez with 23 goals in a class of his own this season, as you can tell, 6 goals ahead of 2nd place. Is there anyone else from our side in there? Paulo Dybala got 12. Obviously, he was out injured for a chunk as well, so nice to see him so high up. Icardi's there with 10 as well. I'm still not sure what to do with Mauro Icardi, really am not, but Podolski and Freddy Guarin are there as well, both on 9. We did score a lot of goals this year. I will actually quickly show you the league table again in a second to show you how many goals we did actually score. But Palacio and Icardi both got 9 assists each. Gary Medel there with 8, which is a surprise actually from CDM. I didn't expect him to be that creative, but it's a pleasant surprise to see him there. And then Marco Sal's there actually with 5 as, is that 23rd? Although he is technically joint 17th. So decent for him. What about, let me just quickly check clean sheets. Did Handanovic come top on clean sheets? He did, with 14, 1 ahead of Gianluigi Buffon. And then weirdly, Rafael of Napoli, who finished 10th, came 3rd on the clean sheet charts. But we did score a lot of goals this year, as you can see in the league. 80 in total in 38 games. More than everybody else apart from Juve at top, who scored 1 more. But we did concede a few goals this year, 46, which isn't necessarily too good, and we'll have to address that next season. But we'll end with a squad report so you can see who has progressed how so far this season, and then we can kind of discuss in the comment section of today's video and then the next video where we think we need to improve, because I will record Monday's video ahead of time and just have my own personal transfer targets, as we always tend to do, and then we'll see throughout the window if we can integrate in any of your transfer targets as well from the comment section of this video, the next video on Monday, and of course throughout the window as well. But Samir Handanovic finishes on 86 rated, up 3 from 83. £29.5 million he's rated at. Fantastic ratings. 91 diving, 87 reflexes, 88 positioning. He started the season quite dodgy, but he actually pulled through towards the end of the year with some very, very dominant performances. So I'm not sure what to do with him. Obviously, we could replace him, but he's been very good for us, so I might keep hold of him. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, though, the sort of fee that we could get for him would kind of twist my arm if we were to get a large offer in. Juan Jesus has grown very nicely indeed. He's been in the club for years, but apparently he's homesick right now, which is disappointing. Hopefully we can keep hold of him. But his form's been okay, as you can see, 3 assists actually with 15 clean sheets. And overall ratings for my defence actually aren't that high, as you can see. 6.3 there, 6.5, only 6.2 for Nemanja Vidic. So we do need to improve in the defensive positions. So there are a couple of ageing defenders that we do want to move on. So we'll be looking for central defenders in the upcoming window. But Juan Jesus has grown nicely. Nemanja Vidic has actually grown in key aspects when it comes to the technical side of things. Mentally declined a little bit, but the key thing is that physically he didn't decline, although I am probably going to move him on because he is going to start to decline now as we head into his 34th year. Balanta is growing quite nicely though. He's done very well this year. Obviously we paid 8.5 million plus Kuzmanovic for him, but extremely pleased with the way that he's grown, and he will continue to grow throughout the second season. So hopefully he could be a world-class centre-back by the time we finish Season 2. Cavander has been very good for us, actually. I wasn't sure how good he'd be in that right mid spot, but I've been very, very impressed. 3 goals and 3 assists for him, plus 12 clean sheets, and hopefully he too can continue to grow as we head into the second season. Mateo Kovacic obviously had an upgrade at the beginning of the year anyway, thanks to EA, and obviously he's continued to grow from that upgrade as well, now 79 rated at the age of 21. Surprised that his value is so low at 5.5 million. 5 goals, 3 assists for him this season, and he does look like he could improve even more in the second season, so fingers crossed he does so. Gary Medel, as we saw, very, very solid this year, 6.6 overall rating, but 9 assists and 4 goals from CDM is very impressive considering he doesn't have that good a shooting stats. As you can see, finishing is 34, so very, very low, but he's extremely good in the tackle and very good physically as well, so he will be staying at the side. We won't be looking to move him on. So Evan Shaqiri had a very good year for us, 7 goals, 2 assists, pleased with him this year. Would have probably been utilised a bit better at cam if I'd used him there, but I do like playing him out wide, so I will continue to do so on the left-hand side. And hopefully he can have just as good a season next year as he did this. Freddie Guarin picked up 11 goals for us in all competitions and 6 assists from that cam spot. Very pleased with him. I'm tempted to swap him and Mateo Kovacic around in my starting 11 and play Kovacic at cam and Freddie Guarin at out-and-out centre mid, but I love having Freddie Guarin sat just behind the 2 strikers to take those long shots, and he has got long shots up 1 at 90 and shot power up 1 to 92 as well. Would have expected a little bit more growth from him considering the good season that he had, but regardless, he is up 1 overall at 80. Mauro Icardi is up 3 overall at 80 as well, and his stats continue to improve. I'm not sure what to do with him, but 16 assists and 15 goals. He has an extremely good season. I can't say that I've overly enjoyed playing with him, but I didn't overly enjoy playing with Daniel Sturridge at Liverpool in the first season, and then in the second year he got even better, and I really clicked with him and found how best to play with him. So I think I might keep Mauro Icardi and hope that he'll grow even more in the second season and I'll actually figure out how to properly utilise him, although considering I don't really know how to play with him and he's still got 15 goals and 16 assists, it's a very good season for him. Rodrigo Palacio is up 3 as well, which I didn't expect. I don't think anyone in the comments section expected that either. Any of you viewing expected him to grow so well this year. You expected him to decline, and a lot were calling for him to be sold, but 26 goals and 12 assists in all competitions this year mean that he is definitely going absolutely nowhere. He's staying as one of my number 1 strikers. He and Mauro Icardi will take the first team spots, I think. Hugo Campagnaro is a player that I'm going to look to move on, along with obviously Nemanja Vidic, so we will be looking for defenders. Marcelo Brozovic has grown very nicely this year. I have been quite impressed with him. He's been very good for a rotation player for me, and fingers crossed he'll continue to grow in the next year or so. Yuto Nagatomo, I'll probably look to move on this particular second season. Didn't play too much for this year, and we can obviously replace him with a younger, more influential player, considering he's 28 years old. Marco Sau came in as kind of a backup player because we needed him when Dybala went out injured for a considerable amount of time, but overall this year, obviously not all of these goals have been scored for us, considering he was at Cagliari beforehand, but scored 12 goals and got 7 assists this year, and scored a lot of goals in the Europa League for me, 5 in 5. They were all for us, so he has been pretty good for us, and I'm pleased with him. Moussa Sissoko is growing nicely as well, 8 goals and 9 assists for him this year. Everybody seems to have chipped in when it comes to goal scoring this year. I've been very, very impressed. It's been such an entertaining season when it comes to goal scoring that hopefully you guys have really enjoyed it. Andrea Ranocchia is a player I'm undecided on. I don't know whether to move him on or whether to keep him. He's played quite well. As you can see, he's growing nicely, and I'm not sure whether he's one to keep or one to move on and replace. Lucas Podolski will go back to Arsenal, but unfortunately he'll be a big miss. He's obviously scored 14 goals for us this year. He's been very, very good to play with, so I may look to buy him in permanently, or maybe look to get an out-and-out replacement for his particular. Maybe I could even use Shaqiri at cam instead of Podolski and then get a left winger, although we are going to look to move on to Gatamo as well, so maybe I could get a winger and a cam. So something to think about. George Puskas, I'll try and send out on loan again next season if I possibly can. Played 1 game for us in the Europa League, actually got an assist, so fair play to him. Has grown quite nicely as well off the bench. But Soli picked up 1 goal in his 1 game for us this year as well. He'll go back to Sampdoria, I presume, unless it's a 2-year loan spell at the end of this year. Dybala's grown quite nicely as well, scored 13 goals in 22 games and picked up 4 assists for us, so he'll continue to have a very big role to play for us in the second season as well. Dodo will go back out or go back to Roma. Didn't play much for us this year at all. Davide Santon played a few games for me, but I'll probably look to replace him as well. He'll go back to Newcastle after his loan spell expires, unless, of course, either of these are 2-year loan spells as well. Juan Pablo Carrizzo, his contract expires in a month. I'm not sure whether to offer him a new one to then sell him on, or just let his contract expire and then just replace him outright. I think I might offer him a contract and then try and sell him on so we can maximise our potential profit from him. Jonathan is a player I'm probably going to move on as well, despite the fact that he was very effective for us this year. As you can see, 4 goals, 4 assists in his rotation football. A lot of those were substitute appearances as well. So to be fair to him, he did very well indeed and scored an absolute banger in yesterday's episode as well. But Silvestre, he's out on loan at Sampdoria. His contract expires at the end of this month and I'm just going to let him leave. Alvaro Pereira could perhaps be a replacement for the outgoing on loan Davide Santon, although I may look to sell him and replace him. We'll have to wait and see. Charlotto I'll probably look to sell on as well. He's done okay for Chievo Verona and grown quite nicely this season, but obviously I think I might sell him on. Same with Bardi. He'll probably go back out on loan again next season, rather than actually being involved in first-team football, although his stats are okay, so maybe he could replace Carrizzo. Sofia Taider is definitely going to stay at the club and probably have a decent amount of football, to be fair. Maybe he and Brazovic can actually create quite a nice partnership, and he potentially could replace the outgoing Lukas Podolski. Then I could move Mateo Kovacic up to cam and have him and Freddy Guarin as rotation cams, and to have Safir Taider there as CDM alongside Gary Medell in rotation football. We'll have to wait and see, but he does look quite impressive. Those stats look very nice, so I'm quite looking forward to playing with him and seeing if we can help him improve even more. Ricardo Alvarez will probably get sold on. Almost certain he'll get sold on because he's valued at 4.8 million, so we could probably get a decent amount of money for him. Ruben Botta, I don't know. Probably going to sell him on as well, or send him out on loan again. Gaston Kamara will go out on loan again because he's a youngster. Same with Nakuri, although all of the youngsters that have gone out on loan have grown quite nicely. As you can see, DeMarco as well out on loan. He's grown quite nicely. Same with Palazzi. So the youngsters are doing quite well. Isaac Donkor as well, growing quite nicely at Medina, although still looking quite distinctly average. But that is going to bring today's episode to a close, guys. Let me know what you think of how the team is growing so far. I think we're going to have a lot of transfer action, a lot of outgoings, a lot of incomings in the upcoming window. I will do my own transfer targets for next Monday, and then we'll take your suggestions into account for the resulting transfer window. But drop the video a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, check the channel page for anything you may have missed over the past few days. That'd be superb. And of course, feel free to follow me on Twitter as well, and on Twitch. There'll be a link in the description. We'll be streaming tonight Football Manager over on twitch.tv/Chesnoid Gaming. But for this afternoon's video, that will be all for now. There'll be Career Mode Road to Glory later on tonight as well. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.